is okay.
I identified that and called the network guy and asked him to check the nodes, and he has verified and he has done some changes. Then my workflow started flowing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Good. No problem. Yeah. Tomorrow you can take, or else whenever you are free and whenever you are getting time, definitely you
yeah.
can place that, right? And of course, friends, so far, the component wise, if I am observing, so observe here, friend, just various components so far we have discussed. Initially, we have discussed the machine learning algorithms as a first component, and second important thing is just we have seen some kind of the Python context related to our requirement, and coming to the third aspect, just we have seen some kind of the statistics, and then we start working with related to the probability, like that we have seen. Apart from that, some general aspects we have seen, these particular general aspects are like data pre-processing and feature scaling and bias variance trade-off, like that some of the aspects we have seen. So that means just if you are considering this as a fifth component, now we are into the implementation, friends, actually. So though we have seen some of the aspects in Python, but again, okay, what we are trying to do is we are trying to materialize all the things. From today onwards, whichever the topics we are going to cover, they are not new for us. Only the thing is just we are making use of those uh, the understanding of the concepts which we are having. We are trying to get into these particular genres of implementation. Okay, so just it is like revisiting in the interface of the Python. That's all. Remaining under hoods and all the background aspects remains same. Now, if I'm talking about the data pre-processing, so if you are referencing the data pre-processing, can someone help me, friends, which are the two major aspects we need to consider in the data pre-processing?
Encoding.
Very good. One is the encoding technique. Second
And
is
one is
missing value handling or
missing values. Yes, missing values.
missing value imputation. Okay, so if you are referencing these two aspects, friends, most commonly used terms related to the missing value imputation and as well as the encoding. Now, let us try to implement this particular data pre-processing related to our missing value imputation and as well as the encoding techniques. And another important thing is if you are referencing the missing value imputation, okay, let me talk a little bit. So at the time of implementation, we can easily pick up. So in case of the missing value imputation, first of all, what do you mean by missing value, friends?
You find some nulls in the data.
Value is null. Maybe in case of Python, friends, we can say that as a not a number or not available kind of thing. This is one thing. And just we need to observe whenever there is a nan value, just we need to replace that particular missing value. Okay, so this is the identification of the missing value. So just we need to identify that. And what is the procedure, friends? Can someone help me? Though we are having the missing value there, we have seen some kind of the procedures. Suppose if I want to replace that missing value with some kind of featured value or engineered value, what is your option on that? Where you can strongly dependent on one measure actually in central tendency of the statistics, which serve our purpose actually. Maybe if I am working with the missing values, I may not get the proper outcome. So I have to work with certain aspects, certain solution I have to see. Suppose if the data is containing null values and we want to update that particular null value with some kind of the measure, the most commonly used measure is the mean, friends, actually. So what we are trying in this use case is just we need to initially identify the missing value present in our data, and we are going to map, okay, that particular null value with the mean. So this is the deal, actually. And coming to the second aspect, friends, here is a bit distinct one, actually. This is the encoding technique. Okay, a little bit.
Actually, no, mean is doing so many things there.
Yeah,
It's really very important one to deal
really
with.
important one, because mean, variance, and standard deviation, not only in
Mean
this
variance and
case,
standard deviation, really.
uh,
And
in,
correlation. Correlation also is coming out in so many ways, so many
so many
places.
ways. Correct, correct. Yeah. And coming to the encoding, friends, when we are going to use the encoding, basically, why we need encoding? Suppose I'm having some country data with me, and different countries would be there, country 1, 2, 3, and same repeating. So in this particular case, rather than placing the names of the country, I can simply convert these particular things into the numbers. Okay, so these particular numbers allows us or helps us to understand the data in a better way. Even our machine learning algorithm also feels happy if you are giving numbers rather than the categorical kind of the data. So
In our we call as a lookups actually.
okay, okay. So
In
that
the,
okay, right. That means if I am referencing the encoding kind of the technique, this particular encoding greatly helps us so as to work with okay, the numbers. Now in the landscape of machine learning, friends, what is this X and as well as the Y? How do you refer that?
X as Y as a dependent variable, X is an independent variable.
Very good. Is a dependent variable and your X is the independent variable. Your X is the independent variable. Now the observation here is you can apply the encoding techniques on the independent variables. Okay, so suppose I am having x1 and some kind of the values as mentioned earlier is a country. I want to convert that into the numbers. Okay, then I can make use of some kind of the encoding technique. And dependent variable also. Sometimes, we may be getting yes or no, true or false kind of thing. Just I want to replace with 1 or 0, so as to refer in the simplest format. So now you observe while working with the independent variables, okay, there are certain aspects, friends. Variety of the data would be there, and we are having some different categories of the different names of the countries and all. In that case, we have to follow up one kind of the technique. Can someone help me, friends? What is the technique we need to follow in maintenance of the independent variables? How many techniques are there basically in the encoding? Just to recollect, one hot encoding, and this is the label encoding. The label encoding. So what exactly the one hot encoding does? One hot encoding, suppose if I'm having three values or three category of the values or three classes of the values, it is going to generate three columns. Okay, suppose if you are making use of like some companies, if I'm taking, okay, so company 1, company 2, and as well as company 3, repeatedly it is doing. So initially it generates three columns, like the first company 100, second company 010, 001. And whenever you are getting the combination of these 100, definitely that is a country, that company 1. And if you are getting 010, that is company 2. And 001, that is company 3 reference. So what we need to do is, maybe at the discussion you may feel that how do you identify, do we need to really perform the thing? That's what I'm saying, friends. Maybe at the level of understanding these encoding kind of the techniques, you may feel little complex. Okay, maybe in case of the Z score or t-test or normal distribution, whichever. But at the moment we are going to convert and we are making use of some kind of the Python libraries, these things becomes very simple, friends. Only the thing is you need to have that aspects in your mind, and how we are going to map those particular aspects into our coding is the most important term. And coming to the label encoding, so what exactly we are doing here is our label encoding helps us so as to convert, okay, so as to convert the dependent variable, whatever the y value we are having, just if we want to convert that thing into, then we can make use of the label encoding. Now the procedure is like this, friends. Maybe if I'm talking about the data pre-processing, okay, just we can take this as a template. Okay, so this particular template is helpful to you up to the level of ML model implementation, not only for your data pre-processing, not only for your feature scaling. So in all these aspects, this template, okay, whatever the steps I am giving, those particular steps are greatly helps you so as to refer the concept of this machine learning implementation. So coming to very first step, friends, in case of the Python orientation. So just to remember these things, friends. The very first thing is in any machine learning implementation or any concept of data pre-processing or feature scaling or whichever, the very first step is we have to import the required libraries. Okay, we have to import the required libraries. Now, at the moment I am talking about the library, which are all the libraries basically we have seen, friends, in our course of study. Commonly used libraries. One is the Numpy, second is the pandas. So these pandas, you know, friends, to load the data and to work with the data frame, all these things you can make use of the pandas. Can someone help me? What is the functionality we observed in the Numpy? As the name implies, which is the numerical Python.
Numerical
Yeah,
Python,
all
arrays and
two-dimensional arrays, all these things you can refer related to the Python orientation of the libraries. And one more important library along with the NumPy and Pandas. Today we are going to talk about that thing. And of course, we have seen this thing in TensorFlow discussion, friends, actually. Before that, also in case of Matplotlib and all, okay, so one of the important library is scikit-learn, actually. So sklearn library. So this is the most important library where we are having all the encoding aspects, or where you can handle your missing value imputation and your feature scaling, like maybe the standardization. If I'm using, I can make use of this particular sklearn. So sklearn capacity is, if I'm saying NumPy, it is related to numerical Python and arrays and two-dimensional arrays I have to use. Whereas if in case of the pandas, I'm having a series and data frame usage and loading of the data. Whereas your sklearn capacity is different, friends, when compared with this NumPy and pandas, because our entire machine learning landscape, our entire machine learning aspects are revolving and dependent on this sklearn library. So in today's session itself, we are making use of this particular sklearn so as to convert our data into the missing values into the mean, and so as to encode our data into one hot encoding and as well as the label encoding. Like that, we're having some certain kind of the aspects. Okay, so at the moment, and one more important thing is if I want to apply some kind of the standardization. Okay, so I'll ask that question. What do you mean by standardization at that moment of time whenever we are going to implement? And apart from these aspects, okay, if you see the first step in the template of this data pre-processing, the very first step is importing the required libraries. And as of now, our requirement is to work with the NumPy and as well as the pandas and as well as the sklearn. Suppose that while implementing the algorithms, and if you want to display the corresponding results in the visual format. So definitely you can go with matplotlib and as well as matplotlib and another thing, friends. What is that another thing? Along with the matplotlib, we have seen one more library for the visualization. Matplotlib and cburn. So these are all the common libraries we are going to use in the implementation of the machine learning algorithms, Numpy, Pandas, sklearn, and Matplotlib and cburn. These five are most commonly 90% of our machine learning algorithms and our implementations are dependent on this importing of libraries, these libraries, friends. Okay, so very first point is importing of the libraries. And what is the second point, friends? Can someone help me? Okay, we have imported the required libraries. What is the second point? Before going to apply any of the missing value imputation or encoding techniques, or else if you want to display the data, or if you want to scale the features, first what should we have? You should have the data, na? So that means loading of the data. Loading of the data. So this is what you call the data set actually. From today onwards, you know, along with the class shell, along with your note on algorithms, we are going to get one more component, the data set, friends, actually, because first after importing the libraries, you need to work on top of this particular data also. Okay, whichever the data set we are having, that particular data also you need to work, and that is what we are going to use some country data here in the today's session. So that particular country data we have to load. Once the data is available, then your activities, friends, actually. So coming to the, as we are talking about the data pre-processing. Okay, so in the data pre-processing as a first method, okay, we are having in the today's session, we are going to talk about the missing value imputation, with mean. This is the first data processing technique we are going to see. And second important thing is your encoding techniques. And this particular encoding we are going to apply on top of the independent values and on top of the dependent, and especially the use case which I am taking is dependent on this one hot encoding for the independent, and for the dependency we are making use of the label encoding. However, our label encoding is helpful to convert okay that y value true false or yes or no into some 1 or 0 kind of the aspects. So it all depends, friends. Maybe sometimes, you know, your data is not having the missing values, then you can skip this step. And if you need not go with the encoding kind of the aspects, you can skip this step. It doesn't mean that always I have to perform some kind of the data pre-processing on my data. There is no rule book, friends, because this is not like you know, so traffic rules or something like that, friend. There is no kind of rules or something, because it is very dynamic, and based on the data set only you need to take the decision. Okay, so just after 5 or 6 implementation of the algorithms, you can realize that which are all the projects and which are all the capstones we are seeing. And according to the requirement, we need to connect all the background things. Okay, maybe directly the client won't demand us to apply the encoding or to apply the missing value filters or something like that. Okay, client requires okay, can you able to predict something on top of this data and what I can infer. Okay, only those things, and it is you to highlight and to make use of that particular data in a specific or perfect manner. So in all those kind of things, definitely it is all situation based. There is no rule or nothing. Flow is we won't follow any kind of strict rules or regulations in the implementation of the algorithm, but definitely there is a kind of understanding and you can easily get that magic friend that every time I am referring that thing. So easily you can get into the genre of this machine learning stuff. Okay, this is the
One
data
small question.
pre-processing. No, you can go ahead. No one is there to stop you.
Uma, you said that the client requirement will be there for the missing values and encoding. Like suppose if you have a data set which has the missing values,
Hmm.
so our way of doing the coding or a model is we definitely, because we know very well that if you have a missing values, then definitely there will be a problem in the in the future yeah, implementation.
Hmm.
At that point of time, should we take permission of the client saying that
No.
you want?
See, here permission you need not. Only the thing is, what we are doing is missing value. What I'm saying is, client won't refer any technical aspects to you. He just mentioned the
Okay, okay.
functional aspects.
Functions. Okay,
Functional
that is the way.
aspects.
That is the way
Ah,
in the project happens.
yeah.
Okay.
It all you need to decide along with the team. That's what again we
Okay,
have
okay,
seen
okay.
the thing. Na? Subject
Because
matter expert.
when you said that, the client may say that I'm not concerned about missing values means, then I got a doubt
No.
that whether he is imposing on us
Client even don't
or
know what is a missing value, what
that's
is
what
encoding.
I know that, but client
Yeah.
even don't know. But
Ah.
if he says that, particularly if he says that, okay, don't follow encoding
No,
or
never.
don't
Maybe sometimes,
never.
if that is the case, then especially in credit card or banking kind of things, or else, some kind of already, if that is the case, they should give you the encoded values with their team. Their personal team would be there, na, team, so that if they don't want to
Yeah.
reveal the details about the patients, maybe if you are working with the healthcare domain, or if you are working with some kind of the banking, they don't want to reveal their details about their customers or patients, then they will give some dummy data or some kind of the encoded data, or they may ask you to populate some data where we have seen in the random way of generating the data. That is also possible, but only the thing is they need your algorithm or model, and how it is going to predict the things. And one
Yeah.
more thing, we are not interested to observe the data or who is Suresh or who is Venkat. No, our interest is not that. Our interest is from that particular data, how we are going to make use of the things. Like, so where we are not at all interested in the individual members data, or else whatever the designation or qualification, not like that. Only the thing is, if such kind of qualification is there, whether he really contributing to the corresponding project, or whether he really making any difference in the quality or not. So if that is the factor, and even one more example we have seen, if you remember, there is some World Bank sponsor project is there, where students will be given every facility, and do really these students after availing the facilities, whether they are really performing well or not. So that we are not scoping individual student, but the community of the students who are availing the benefits from the World Bank, whether they are really performing well or not. Maybe if I'm taking the community of the male students or female students, whether there is any real distinction or performance wise any significantly differentiation is there between them. Our interest is on the group of data, and how we are highlighting and how we are making use of those internal aspects related to the implementation. Okay, right.
No, if the client doesn't allow, like suppose,
No.
I mean, last 2020, I worked with a company called
Hmm.
General Dynamics.
Mhm.
Now, this is a company which deals with arms and ammunitions with the Pentagon, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
and these guys, they
Hmm.
never let any sample data with us.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
really suffered a lot,
Uh,
creating packages and all this stuff. We have not knowing what to do, how to do. I mean, if that is the case, suppose, because they say that it is all confidential data, we don't want to. Even they didn't even put us A and B also. They did took it from. We said how to do it. I
is
mean,
it?
it's a really.
Mhm. No, at
That's why
least
even
it,
US Pentagon is not
mm,
accepting.
yeah, at least they should have given some labels also, no? At least name of the column, if you are knowing at least employee number, designation, or qualification, or address, or something like that, you can generate some dummy data. Okay, generally, whatever I'm giving you the data set and all, it's not also real. It's a fake data. And maybe we are getting the data from UCI repository or else some other repositories. Because that is absolutely fine. No data scientist or no company is demanding the client to give the exact data. Our interest is just okay. You can change the name of see here, just to see here, loading of the data, maybe loading the data set xyz.csv. They can give some tesco.csv, whatever that space we have to give now. Okay, maybe their team would be there and they are very much interested to use our model, but they don't want to reveal. Such cases would be there, Suresh, definitely. But only the thing is, though they are not giving, at least they need to allow us. Okay, so to know the kind of column names, because you can always generate some dummy data or some fake data throughout that particular data set related to the labels. Okay, without data we cannot do anything, to be frank.
We cannot do anything. That's what is it.
Because
We suffered a lot.
our interest is we our interest is we are predicting something, and if you are not knowing about what to predict, and on top of what we have to predict, nothing would be there, nothing we are going to simulate or and 99% of the cases we are going to work with the fake data only. There no company is going to give us the original data. Okay, but once the data is we have successfully implemented, and there is a DevOps team as our as mentioned earlier in the deployment phase, and in that case they can take their own setup of the people and who they have recruited earlier. They can go ahead with those kind of the things. Okay, right. And coming to the next aspect, friends, actually what do you mean? The fourth aspect is the first one, however, we imported the libraries and we have loaded the data. And the third one is according to the requirement, we are applying the pre-processing and again missing value and as well as other encodings we are using. And can someone help me to observe what is the fourth aspect, friend? What do you mean by splitting of the data? Because this is very important
You know,
aspect.
you are forming a meaningful structures at a time at a
uh,
place where it's easy to train and easy to
yes.
test.
Okay, so hope you are knowing about this. And can someone help me the percentage, friends? 80 and as well as the 20% of the data.
20.
Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes
But
75
at
and
that time you said 75, 20%.
yeah, 25. That also works. Okay, that is
That
very simple
that
thing.
TCS and you have given an example of this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this particular training data, what we are using is, suppose we are having some model and to train or to fit the model, there are certain terms, friends. Fit and transform. Fit is nothing but just you generate or just you fit that particular model. Okay, whatever. Transform in the sense actual applicability. If I want to apply, or if I want to give the dynamic execution to that particular model, I can transform. Transformation means what? Actually conversion or transforming the input to the output. Now this particular training and testing, friend, there are certain aspects. uh, Testing data we are not giving, or we are because our model frankly is not having any idea about any, no clue about the testing. Because what for we are using this particular testing data, by the way? Test data test data we are not going to give to the model at the time of training, but we
We
are
do the
present.
and Y test. For testing, Y predict with Y test.
Yeah, that is a prediction. So this particular prediction really observes that our model is not exposed with the test data, but based on the new data, how our model is performing. Okay, you can be very clear. There we have seen some kind of the measures also. Whenever we are making use of the regression and classification, again measures would be there. Again, while implementing those kind of the measures, we are going to talk about those kind of the conventions. Okay, let us start with the working of this implementation, friends. Okay, so that again we are going to talk about those kind of the aspects. So just what we are doing is just I am making use of conventions. Just 1 minute. Let me open this thing. Yeah, here yeah, in the code files. Okay. So if you are observing this particular thing, friends, I'm naming this thing as data pre-processing.
You were not able to say anything.
Yeah, let me share that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Hope you are seeing the screen, friends. This is, which is just you need to start the Jupyter notebook. Okay, and then you can launch that. And one more method is, what is the other method, friends? What is the other method? Other method is, let me share one more time. So just you can observe the other method. So in this, just you type Google
Colab.
Colab. Yeah, that day we have seen Google Colab. So just to click on this, it is ready-madely giving you the RAM and as well as additional processing capacity. Okay, here I can just create a new notebook. And your wish, friends, maybe you can use the Anaconda Navigator, or else you can use the Google Collaboratory, but because some of the companies are not allowing us to use the Google Collaboratory because that is a Google product and it's not an open source kind of thing. And even TensorFlow and all those things are the products of Google, but still companies want to use their own cluster. Okay, with their own cluster they are making use. But frankly, friend, there is no differentiation actually. Maybe if you are using this particular Google Collaboratory kind of aspects, so you will be allowed to access okay all the GPU kind of thing. Okay, so maybe if your machine is not that much great in the performance and as well as the storage wise and as well as the processing wise, then definitely you can connect with this Google Collaboratory. Okay, so you can do whatever the means. Okay, so just let me start with the navigator, Anaconda Navigator, and then some of the examples we'll see in the Google Collaboratory also. Okay, right. And coming to the first aspect, can someone refer, friends, what is the first step? What is the first step of in our implementation? Because we have to tell like what is the first step we need to perform in the implementation.
Python.
Importing the
Numpy.
libraries. Okay, so just let me here. If you see this part, friends, actually we are having heading, markdown and all. Markdown gives us to give the comments kind of thing. Okay, so import the required libraries. Okay, import the required library and shift enter. So here how do we import the libraries, friend? Just we are having the statement called import. What we need to import? Numpy as alias name. Generally, friends, you can give whatever the alias name, but only the thing is there is some kind of the industry standard everyone should know. So what exactly the kind of the aspects we are using, all those kind of things. So if you are referencing these kind of the notations, if I want to make use of, okay, if I want to make use of those standard naming conventions, I can go with this NP. NP, if you are seeing in the Jupyter notebook of the industry or whichever the company, then you can easily say that that is the alias name. Import numpy as NP. So just you can refer that. And in the same cell, you can give the other library also. What is the other library, friends, we are using? Pandas as the reference name is PD. So whenever there is a usage of the NP, it refers to the numpy. Whenever there is a usage of the PD, it refers to the pandas. Okay, if you want to run this particular cell, friend, there are two options. One is you can directly run or else shift enter. Okay, so this particular shift enter, what it does is at the moment you enter that, initially it is not having any name of the cell or something number. Once this is over, just you can see that completion. Okay, so the library's import is over. Next, what we are looking for is now what is the second step, friends? Basically, I want to load the data. Okay, so just I want to load the data. Load the data. So data must be there now. So as to perform some activity, I should use some kind of the data. For that particular purpose, I should maintain this particular data because I am using this particular storage, and within the DS Kumar and code files, I am having some kind of the data with me. So data.csv, and this particular data.csv I want to load actually. So make sure that, friends, after sharing of this particular data.csv with you, and you need to refer, okay, you need to just refer that download the data, and you place the data in your current directory. Okay, so whichever the directory, maybe in the desktop you are running, or in C:/Suresh/ something Python code, whichever the file, and you can try to open that. So how to open that is just you click on this Jupyter, it opens this thing actually, and you need to click on the desktop and as well as the corresponding path, and wherever you want to store your file, just there you can stop. Okay, because in code files also we are having some other directories or maybe some other things, but your interest is you want to store your file in the code files. Make sure that within the code files your input data must be there. Okay, your input also must be there. So accordingly, just I can refer that. Now what I'm doing is I want to load the data. So for that particular purpose, friends, actually I have given the insight. If you remember loading of the data from pandas. So just what I'm doing is I'm naming this particular thing as the data set DS. Okay, whichever the name you want, you can give that, friends. Now with the help of the PD dot, what about the PD, friends? Actually here pandas dot, so just we are reading, okay, a CSV file. So my input file is CSV. Just you can see here, friends, at the moment you click on it, it should give the IntelliSense. So whichever the data I'm having or whatever the aspects I'm having, just it should give the first 2 or 3 letters. It should able to observe the current directory. Okay, so just you can give the data.csv. That's all, very simple. So just to place, download your whatever the data set I'm sharing with you after the session, just to download and place that particular data file, whatever the source file we are having, into the corresponding location. And from that location, you
It
can
is
load the
placing
data.
the data.csv into read.csv.
No,
Is
not
that
converting.
the thing?
Actually, read.csv is a reading. Na? Just we are reading a file,
Okay,
and
okay, reading
direct
a file.
reading a
Oh,
file.
you are saying reading is it's a command. Read.csv is a command.
Read underscore read underscore
CSV.
CSV is nothing but reading a CSV. And if you observe, the entire thing now available from the DS. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah,
there is one option, friends, actually, if I'm working with the reference, maybe all members are knowing about this convention, like rather than every time data.csv or read underscore CSV, just what we are doing is once we are having that particular data with us, we are going to post the data into a smaller thing, like what we have done in this case, rather than every time referring numpy like that. So this time, whatever the data I'm having, so just directly I'm pointing this particular data to the DS. Okay, now just you can run this particular option, and if no error is there and if the data is present, then it can give the proper outcome. Whereas if I'm giving this data one and if I'm trying to run this, see, friends, here no such file or directory, because data one is not there. So it is simply throwing the exception, and it is guiding us, okay, file not found error. So just you can observe no such file or directory, so that just to observe that before launching this particular load, make sure that that file is available in the specified directory. That is one important thing. And another part here is, okay, now we are happy with the data, and if I want to get whatever the data I'm having, so just if you refer this particular data set and run this, this is the data we are going to work, friends, actually. So here the scenario is like this, friends. we are having some country information and the age of that particular customer, and salary range also we are knowing, and whether that particular customer has purchased the appropriate product or not. Maybe Amazon or Flipkart data I am considering, and I want to segregate the appropriate information based on the countries, and I want to observe whether these guys are purchasing the data, purchasing my product or not. So I want to observe, I want to consider the country information, age, and as well as the salary, and based on that, whether how my purchase is going to happen. Okay, so at this moment, friends, now if you observe this particular aspect, from this particular data, you can easily say that, okay, I'm having the country data with me, and as well as the age, and then salary, and finally the label. You can easily specify that the purchased. Generally, friend, the last column, whatever we are having, that is generally belongs to the label. So the label is nothing but the outcome. Here, what is the outcome for this particular case study, or for this particular project we are studying? What is the outcome in a single statement? What is the outcome of this particular implementation? Whether the customer has purchased the data or not. That's it. Okay, whether he has purchased the data or not, because we are having the country information from where the customer belongs, and his age, and as well as the salary, and how he is purchasing all these kind of things, whether he has purchased or not. If he is purchased means, then we are having the data as yes. If he has not purchased, then it is recorded as no. That's it. This is already existing data. Now on top of this particular data, okay, we are going to apply some kind of the data pre-processing, and as well as some kind of the encoding. Now you tell me, friends, where do I get, how do I apply this missing value? Where can someone help me, where that particular age is containing the missing value, or salary is containing the missing value? In which location we are having the missing value? Already I have given the hint in the class. I mean, before starting this particular lab.
Salary.
Salary.
Salary and age both are there.
Both are there, because if I'm considering age in the 6th row, we are having that missing value. And in the salary also, in the 4th row, we are having the missing value. Okay, of course, missing value is there, and so we need to convert, we need to apply the kind of the mean substitution instead of that particular missing value. Now you tell me, friends, can I directly make use of this particular data, or anything else I need to perform? Is there any requirement of separating the independent variable, independent and dependent? Yeah. Because you know, see the important point, friends, data is there. That data is combination of the dependent and as well as the independent features. Okay, so it is always best practice so as to separate these particular x and y values before applying any concept. Maybe that is the encoding or feature scaling or model implementation, whichever. Okay, now can someone help me, friends, how to pick up only x value? What is the capital X in the machine learning? What is the capital X? Is the independent values. Okay, whereas a small y is reference of the labels actually. So the same convention we are following. Now my requirement is I want to get only these 3 columns data with your Python knowledge. That time also we have seen how to get, okay, how to get only these 3 columns into my x value, because x is nothing but the independent values, and those particular independent value references are existing in country, age, and as well as the salary. And I want to segregate these 3 into the x value, and this particular purchase, whatever I am having, that should be into the y value. What is your thought process, friends? Maybe in the today's session, I'll help you to at most 99 or 100%, but from the next algorithm implementation onwards, because to be frank, today we are seeing only the data pre-processing. Okay, after the data pre-processing, we are going to talk about the feature scaling, and then we are going to launch the regression. So but this template remains same. Maybe importing of the data or loading of the data, and then performing the appropriate loading operation up to this common. According to the requirement, you can apply your missing value imputation or else encoding techniques or standardization applicability. All those things follows, and then you can apply whatever the algorithm you want. Okay, so now one simple aspect, friend, let me discuss that point. So entire data is available with the now DS. You need not refer data.csv again. Okay, just we are having the DS, and from this particular DS I want to fetch only the country, age, and as well as the salary data. I need to have only those three particular data items. So if that is the case, okay, how to get that information? Okay, in what way we are going to get the information? Any idea, friends? So just I am getting this DS dot. What is this I location? Index location. Okay, observe here, friend, the indexing just specifies that that location wise. So we are having a country indexing country as the in Python. What is the starting value of the index?
0.
0. From 0 onwards, it is going to start. So what we are doing is, friends, if I want to get all the rows, okay, because first one is always the first parameter always referencing the rows, just I am giving the colon. That means I want to get all the rows. I don't want to split any row or something. My interest is to split the columns only, not the rows. If I am taking country, age, and salary, I should get all the rows which are available in the data set. Similarly, after splitting of this particular purchased also, I want to get all the rows. Now you tell me, friends, how do I get this particular country, age, and salary with the index values? That means I have to traverse from 0, 1, 2. Okay, now this is country is nothing but the 0, age is nothing but
0, 1, 2.
1, 2. Okay, now I want to exclude this one. I want to exclude that one. So just you observe here, friends, my column name. Okay, just be with me. My column name, and I am excluding only -1. What do you mean by this? Can someone interpret this, friends?
The last one will not be coming. It excludes the one that we typed in.
Exactly. Very good. Okay. There is one simple aspect, friends. Now you see here. Suppose if I am saying I location of A colon B, that means it includes A and up to B-1. It includes. Okay, it won't include B, friend. That is the important point. So on the same liner, if I am mentioning this -1, generally in Python, if you are while making use of this particular kind of the convention, if I am saying the upper value or upper bound, that is going to exclude. Now, if I am excluding this one, which are all the things going to include? Because colon is a reference of one more point I am referring here. Colon allows to get all the rows or columns up to the specified range. Now you see here in the first part of this particular thing, generally the first part is referenced by the rows. This is the row reference. I want all the rows. Now coming to the columns, of course, I am starting with the colon and I am running up to -1. Okay, just we can make use of this particular -1. Obviously, your columns, first 3 columns would be there, and -1 is referenced by that particular purchased. Automatically, that will be excluded. Okay, so what is the expectation here, friends? Now, my X value is containing all the rows, but it is going to highlight these particular data. So, which is nothing but country, age, and as well as the salary. Let me give a try and run this. This one, right? Sorry. Okay, if no error is there, it is not going to output anything, friends. Okay, now just I am giving this particular X. Now you see here country, age, and as well as the salary. So again, I am repeating. So while working with the I location, so that particular I location helps us to pick up the required rows and as well as the columns information. The first parameter always pointing to the rows. The second parameter always pointing to the columns. As I am not mentioning any numbers here, directly I am mentioning the colon. Obviously, it is going to give all the rows. I want all the rows. I don't want to split the rows. Now coming to the columns, as I am interested in the independent values. Okay, so my independent variable is a combination of my country, age, and as well as the salary. So just I want to make use of those particular things, so that what I have done, just colon all the things, but I am excluding this particular thing. Okay, simply if you are referencing, what is this -1, friends? Actually, why I have not used 3? Because 3 is generally reference for the purchased, but why I have used -1? Can someone help me? Friends, what is -1 in Python? Maybe in list, or again we have to go back
No,
and
it,
check.
-1 means after the end of that list, it goes to the end.
Yeah, that is the ending column. So whatever the column I am having the as the ending, there is one way of referencing, friends. See here, purchase is -1, salary is -2, age is -3, country is -4. Like that also you can refer. Now always prefer the best option rather than again referencing 0, 1, 2, 3 all. Just it is enough to mention exclude this -1. So obviously this -1 won't be included in our Python. So this particular -1, many ways it is going to help us, friends. We are going to talk. Okay, just we have started now, and we have imported some kind of the libraries, and thereafter we have loaded some data, and we have seen some kind of the columns and as well as the rows which are available in the data, and then we are picking up some of the independent. Okay, so because always this particular purchase is something which is dependent value, whereas we are going to manage that particular independent values with respect to the requirement. Okay, so country, age, and salary is our requirement, and purchase is our dependent value. Now on the same liner, how do I get the y value, friends? Think through, don't be in a hurry. So just we are having the entire ds with us. So this is the entire
Put -1 before colon.
Okay, so let me write this. So y value, small y equal to ds dot
DS dot
I location of I want
allocation
all
of
rows na
all
colon
rows colon, comma, -1, because it is a range now.
no,
It
it's
is a
not
range
range.
actually.
It's not range actually. You are right, Suresh. -1.
Range in the sense not all the values.
And one more thing here, if you see, uh, it is perfectly okay, but sometimes in some of the versions it is not going to allow us to take the things. So in that case you have to refer the values. Both are one and the same. Just you can refer the differentiation. You can observe, friends. In the earlier thing, if I am not using the values, okay, it has given some kind of the data frame kind of the aspect. But one more important thing is, what is the importance and what is the advantage of the numpy, friends? What is the importance of the numpy?
Numpy is all the it goes with all the arrays and all.
Arrays and two-dimensional arrays. And if numerical kind of thing is there, better you go with the numpy. Now you see, at the moment I am storing some data, and if I am plainly using that data, it is generally giving the data frame. Just observe here, friend, whatever the data we are loading, by default that particular pandas pointing to the data frame. But our interest is, okay, majority of the time, friend, just while if you want to make use of the missing values or encoding, our entire aspect is related to the numbers, so that it is always better to maintain that particular convention with the arrays notation. Okay, so that if you want to maintain your output in the context of this particular array, just you can give the values. And now okay, as per our Suresh analogy, so just we got this particular data set, whatever we are having, and we want all the records. And but one more thing, we don't want to skip anything from the last column, whatever I am having. I want to embed that particular column. See, friends, here range I am not giving. Range if you are giving, see in the earlier example, I'm giving the range here. So you can have a look on this. If you are giving the range, the higher value would be excluded. If you are not giving the range and directly mentioning the value, then that value would be there. So now one more thing is just you can make use of these values. Okay. Now, if you refer these particular values, obviously I got this Y and enter. So hardly what it is saying, yes, no kind of thing, whatever the data item we are having. Okay. So up to now, okay, just you can observe how we are going to fetch the appropriate values, whatever the values I'm having in the corresponding data set. I'm going to segregate those particular independent values and as well as the dependent variable. So reason behind this is, as I want to apply some kind of the encoding techniques, and I cannot apply the encoding or missing value on top of the entire data set. First, the important point here is you need to segregate the X value and as well as the Y value, not only for this data pre-processing, friends, but also for your implementation of the training and test set. Okay, and as well as if you want to implement your model separately, you have to mention what is your X value and what is your Y value. For that particular purpose, we are making use of this particular segregation of the columns in general. Okay, at least in this particular example, the purchased, the last column, whatever I'm having, it is the label value. So what this particular data is trying to do is just it is recorded all the purchased information related to various members, and that particular information is consisting of the country information, age, and as well as the salary. And based on these particular data items, whether that particular candidate or whether that particular person has purchased the kind of the product from the e-commerce website or not. So that is what. So purchase just recorded yes or no kind of the convention. Now we got this X value and as well as the Y value. Next, what is the next step, friends, we need to do? Can someone help me? What is the next step?
You have to work on
imputing the missing values. Imputing the missing value. Now, be with me, friends. I need your utmost attention, because this is the statement where we are using to perform the operations of the scikit-learn. You know, scikit-learn is a package where you can perform the entire aspects. Okay, so that day also we have seen what exactly the scikit-learn and how it is helping us. Just you can refer once more. The very first thing. Hope you are able to see the screen, friends. Scikit-learn you are seeing, and here machine learning in Python. See, just observe here, simple and efficient tool for predictive data analysis, accessible to everybody and reusable in various contexts. So it is built on top of Numpy, SciPy, and as well as the Matplotlib, and basically it is a open source kind of thing. Now starting with the classification, okay, and thereafter we are having the regression kind of thing, and then clustering. So because our entire thing is this thing. And moreover, now we are talking about the pre-processing actually. So feature extraction, missing value imputation, encoding techniques, we are in this part, friends. And thereafter we are having the model selection. So what do you mean by grid search, friend? That day we have seen. So grid search is a mechanism where we are having the many parameters. And if you want to observe which parameters are really doing well, in that particular case, you can make use of the grid search. We are going to see all those things. And then dimensional reduction. What do you mean by that? Suppose if your data is having more dimensions, and if you want to observe the required dimensions to implement your model rather than over complicating the thing, so that you can make use of dimensional reduction. So likewise, this particular scikit-learn providing all the algorithmic background and as well as your performance tuning techniques like model selection, dimensional reduction, and pre-processing aspects. So this particular thing greatly helps us to implement or to perform various aspects related to our requirements. Okay. So now coming back, but how do I get this particular thing? Because you know, friends, Numpy I could able to get from import Numpy as NP and import pandas as PD. That is perfectly all right. Now, how do I get this particular the scikit-learn from the appropriate Jupyter notebook. Okay, have a look on this. Just be with me, guys. So from what is my requirement? sklearn. Just to click on by giving this tab after giving the 2 letters, you could able to reach that. Now here our interest is we want to impute the missing value. Now you press the dot and we are having some impute, friends. Actually, see here sklearn.impute. Okay, sklearn.impute, and I am importing from this particular thing. What we are importing, friends? Simple imputer. Okay, simple imputer. Let me explain this. What exactly the simple imputer and how we are going to work with that. So observe here, guys. So just if I'm talking about, let me open that OneNote. Yeah. Yes, we are talking about the importing. So this particular import statement, basically giving from sklearn dot impute. I am importing simple imputer. Okay, simple imputer. Now you see here. Can someone help me? What do you mean by a class and object in the object orientation? Because a little bit knowledge is required, friends, classes and objects knowledge while working with the Python, because though it is not a Python training session, but of course, as we are using some of the techniques from the core Python also, and whenever there is a requirement, definitely I'm going to explain those concepts also. Okay.
A class is a classified group, and an object is referred to that particular class. Like for example, population and sample, what we have done yesterday.
Yeah. So class is a template, or which is a blueprint, or which is a source. And if I want to access, or if I want to perform some activity on that particular class, I have to create the object. Now you observe here, friends, actually from the scikit-learn with the impute component, I want to import this particular simple imputer class. So just observe here, this simple imputer class, okay, allows me so as to perform some activity. Then for the simple imputer, definitely I need to create object. Na? I should create the object, and within this particular object only, I'm going to perform some kind of the activities. Now, what is our purpose, friends? Now, why we are discussing about this simple imputer? Why we are discussing about the simple imputer? So as to handle the missing values. Okay, so as to handle the missing values. Now, nan and all. Okay, so just we have imported that simple imputer. Now, as mentioned earlier, now I want to handle the missing values, MV. Okay, missing value object I have created, and I am referencing this particular class once more, simple imputer. Now have a look on this, friends. This particular simple imputer, I need to specify the first argument as what I am going to do. I want to handle the missing values. That is a default property, missing values. How do I get the missing values, friends? From the Python way. In this session, I have introduced that. How do I identify the missing value from the nan? Okay, so that nan is available in NP, Numpy, and just you can specify that nan. So I am instructing my imputer in such a way that, hey, just you can, so just we are creating the reference. Okay, just we are creating the reference. And what we are doing is we are preparing some reference so as to guide our methodology in such a way that whatever the data I am giving, that particular data must be impute these values. Okay, so missing value is this thing. And what is the method we are following, friends, by the way? What is the method we are following? Mean or what? Mean or what we are going to mean? Just to give mean, that's all. No need to worry about computing or something. See, friend, that's all.
But you are not referencing here to DS, na? The values are in DS, X and Y.
Yeah, that we are going to do. We are not given any action. Na? Just we have
So
created
this
the
is a
reference. Generic thing, and I can add this particular generic thing to any data or something. Okay, hope this point is clear with you guys. Okay, so now what we are doing is our MV object is having missing value. Okay, just what we are mentioning, missing values you can pick up from the np.nan. Those things you can observe as a missing value, and you need to follow the strategy of replacing that missing value with the mean. Okay, now you refer this point. Now there is one important aspect, friend. Now this MV containing the information about where it need to check. Okay, we have got this particular idea of the missing value, and now I want to associate this particular missing value with the data. Have a look on this MV dot. Okay, first we need to fit this particular thing. Fit off. On what basis we have to apply this missing values, friends? Just to observe here, which are all the things we need to apply, because fairly you can see that's what I have taken some simple data only in the
age and salary.
Age and salary. Can someone help me, friends? How do I get the age and salary value from the from this particular data?
1 and 2.
1 and as well as the 2. Okay, 1, 2, those things. Now you see here again in this particular also I have to refer the X. All the rows I need, or only few rows? All the rows I need as usual.
all the rows, yeah.
And which are all the columns I want to apply?
-1, -2.
Just to talk in terms of, because no -1 here again. Purchaser is not there, na? X we are talking about.
No. In X there are only 3 columns, no?
Yeah. But still, do we really need -1 reference here?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. But again, only we need that 0, 1, 2. In case of 0 is the country, 1 is the age, and 2 is the salary.
In all the columns.
All the column. No. But this thing I have not taken. This salary, this age and salary only I am taking. I am not interested in 0. Let me write that. What is the starting point? 1. If I am mentioning 2, whether it consider 1 colon, 2 or 3 I have to give?
3.
1 colon 3.
3 you have to give. Reason behind this is?
Because it comes as 3 - 1.
That's it. 3 - 1, so that it is giving us the MV. Now you click on this, friends. Okay, we got this simple imputer. Now what is the process? We have to apply this. What is the word I have used, friends, in the class? After fit, some word I have used. After fitting this particular thing, just go back and verify. I have started here, and we're discussing about the missing value imputation. And if I am talking about the missing value again, we are imported this one. However, the first point, second loading the data, and here I have written that particular thing, friends. Fit we have done. Next is the transform. Actually, transform is nothing but the applicability. Whatever the reference, whatever the labels we have created, if you want to apply that particular thing on top of the data, then definitely you have to take the transform. Now you observe here, friends, how we are applying. Maybe for the first time, definitely you feel some kind of difficulty, friends, because you are not a core or Python based programmers. Definitely. Okay, only the thing is, after 2 or 3 sessions, definitely you can refer all these terminologies, because I am not going to change any terms. Same Numpy I am using, pandas I am using, and as well as sklearn repeatedly, so that after 1 or 2 sessions, definitely you can be habituated. But my strong recommendation would be just to write down all the whatever the statements we are seeing, and you think through. So what exactly simple imputer? What do you mean by sklearn? What do you mean by impute? So definitely it helps you to get the things in the right way. Okay. Now one more thing. Now I got this MV value. So my MV. Now I want to apply this with the help of the transform. What should I transform, friends? Whether I need to transform the entire data or only the Age and
No, in the age
salary.
and salary.
Okay, so that I can I copy as it is?
Yeah, yeah. But it comes all the rows also, no?
Rows, let it be, Suresh, because rows we need na.
Because
See,
we don't know where exactly the nan is.
we don't know. That is one more difficulty. Actually, if you want to filter all the that creates one unnecessary chaos. Actually, that we are not bothered. Let Python take care about that. That is the headache of the Python only. We are not going to involve our intelligence or our strategy. Okay. Now this should be written some value, no friends. This is going to return some value, and where do I store this value? Whether I need to store in a separate thing, or I want to store in X. If I want to store in X only, rather than referring many values and all, because my X value is the independent values I'm having, and I want to update my X as it is. Can someone help me, friends? How do I update this X of whatever the outcome I am getting? The outcome must be updated in the X value. See, same thing, whatever the values I have given, just you can refer that. Okay, so that means whatever the transformation I have applied.
You are saying that it is updating the the salary and this one, both the columns.
Only those columns only, because we are very much clear that our country is not having any values. And one more thing, friends.
So when it is updating, it will check whether there is a nan or
that's it. Suppose you tell me these things, guys. Suppose if I am including country, and suppose assume that country is also containing the null values or NaN values, then what is, can I apply mean value, friends, for that? Can I update with mean?
No, you can't update mean.
Why?
Because mean is a value.
Mean is a value.
It's a value based.
Value based.
So
Numerical based.
Is a string. It's a string.
Is a string or some kind of the text data. We cannot apply the mean. Okay, there is some other procedure. Okay, suppose if I want to update that null values, first I should apply some encoding and all, then only we can see the possibility. Now you observe here, friends. If you observe here, friends, just I am taking the fitting is nothing but whatever the X value I am having, on top of that we are making use of our missing value strategy as the main. And then we are making use of this particular transformation, and the outcome, okay, just we are recorded into this thing. Now can someone...
what it will update, Kumar? You are saying according to your this thing, you are saying that you are identifying that nan value, and you are saying you update that nan value. But what value it will update in nan?
What is this actually? We have mentioned the strategy, na Suresh? Instead of that nan, what I am expecting here? What I am expecting? What do you mean by mean here? Hope you are seeing the screen, friends.
Yeah.
Okay, let me increase that. Now, just to have a look on this statement. I am identifying the missing values with np.nan. And I am instructing my missing value imputer. Strategy you need to follow is the mean. So whenever there is a nan value, you should update that particular nan value with the mean. See the strategy there. Okay. Now, okay, done. So fit, we have given the fit and as well as the transformation. Now you see here, friends. Now, what is the expectation here? Okay, just if I want to print this particular X, now you observe, friends, here, what is the value? And our expectation is simply age and as well as the salary must be updated by the mean whenever there is a nan. So just I am running this thing. Now you see here in the where I got this thing actually in the Germany 40 nan means 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth record. Just to go and check the fifth record, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. This is the mean value. This is the mean value.
Oh,
Maybe
it's a mean value.
it is giving, let it be, no problem. Okay. And one more thing is another nan value I'm having in this particular Spain nan, and as well as this thing actually. So go back to the Spain and it is giving the
Yes,
age. Okay, see friends, how simple this is. Maybe for as I am introducing all these kind of the new terms and terminology, to be frank, I have not done any logic here. Only if you see the importing of the data, this everybody, you need not be a programmer for that. And loading of the data, very much common. Just we are not performing any intelligent way of doing the things. And then this statement, you know, you have to focus on performing. Just go back and refer our data frame discussion if you're still having any doubt in the usage of this I location or something. And then what we have done is just we are making use of this sklearn. Definitely this sklearn is one strategy or one library we are using so as to perform the data pre-processing and so as to handle our clustering, classification, regression, and it is helping us to perform the dimensional detection. So our 90% of machine learning tasks are involved in the sklearn usage. So especially our interest is we are imputing the missing values here. So that what we are doing, we are making use of that sklearn.impute. In that we are having importing of the simple imputer. What do you mean by simple imputer? Okay, if I want to get something about that, shift to tab. Okay, so just you place your cursor and shift to tab. Now you can see here, friends, imputation transformer for completing missing value. Okay, just to, if you are referencing the documentation, if you want to make a note on whatever the classes, whatever the methods we are having, just to place your cursor and just to shift plus tab. Okay, obviously you will be getting this string so that you can see whatever the parameters we are having. So this is the best way of getting the documentation. So Jupyter Notebook is providing excellent documentation for Python oriented things, friends. Okay, so just I am referring here to get the help, shift plus tab. I strongly recommend you guys definitely, if any doubt is there or if any disconnect is there in the observation of these classes and as well as the methods, just go and place the cursor and shift tab. Okay, obviously it is going to explain us, okay, whatever the parameters I'm having. See here, missing values and strategy and fill value. Maybe sometimes, you know, if we want to use all these things, but majority of the times we are using these two things only. We don't want to overcomplicate anything. Whenever there is a requirement, I am going to pull that particular related to that case study. We are going to talk about the remaining parameters. But if you see in this particular strategy, our interest is on the mean updation, so that we are making use of this missing values equal to np.nan and our strategy equal to mean. Now, what do you mean by this fit? Go and press the shift tab, fit the imputer on X. So whatever the value, so this MV is now containing the reference of our simple imputer. So the simple imputer is a class which is providing us so as to observe, so as to identify the missing values and so as to compensate those missing values with the mean. Now, after getting this particular fit, next what we are doing is sorry guys, transform. So impute all missing values in X, and this is going to perform some kind of the transformation, and it is simply giving the observation. So whatever the aspects were logically performed, all those things can be transformed. Okay, so any difficulty?
No, Uma,
Yeah.
now I understood why he has used mean there. You know, if he doesn't use mean, if he puts zero at the time of y test and y predictor,
yeah,
they're actually when you're getting errors, the error it will be more in the errors.
yes,
And when using in the regression your R square and adjusted, it will be very problematic to do. If you put a mean here, the value will be very close, the error will be very less.
that's it. Okay,
Is it that? Is that what my understanding is?
Exactly. You know, friends, here definitely there is some kind of the observation or some kind of the patterns would be there. It is not that much great, like, you know, you need not think much, because somewhere we missed this particular guy age, so that all the purchase group is more or less in this range. So obviously if I could apply that particular mean related to this particular thing, obviously I can get. Similarly, the same strategy we can see in the salary also. Okay, that NAN kind of thing. So, but this is one case, friends, actually. This is one thing where in particular to the use case, and if I'm changing my data set, and if I'm giving you another project to implement the missing values or encoding, altogether you should go with some other aspect. Suppose, you know, some other example. Okay, you can give it a try. Like Amazon, Accenture, and as well as Infosys, from past 10 years, they are going to on-campus drive, and the representatives are recruiting the people. Now, generally, rather than explaining these, many times we have discussed, Suresh, if you remember, Venkat, Yogesh, and all. So generally, the VC and as well as Dean, they explain about the median salaries, not the mean salaries.
Yeah, median salary.
Yeah, median, how it distinct from mean, friends, actually. So it is a confident, I mean, that kind of measure we are using, but still it is giving a different sense, actually. What is that median and mode?
Median is the center one in
Center,
the data set.
yeah, center point of the data. That means suppose if I am talking about the mean may not be center, friends. If it is center, means it is a normal distribution. Generally we won't get normal distribution. So that's one more thing, it leads to actually. But whereas median is a proper measure, where though the distribution is not normal, but still we can bank on the median. Median is something like, you know, which is definitely giving the center value, so that they can, if they are saying about median packages and all, definitely the people can easily say, if I'm saying my topper salary is this or this thing, no one is going to believe, because definitely toppers would be there 10 to 15% in every class. But if I'm saying median, definitely there is some authentication. So not only the toppers, but also we are getting some reasonable pay for the freshers, and that too in these kind of companies. Okay, so I'm stopping here, friends. I thought of taking encoding also, but I don't want to overburden you, but just to observe this kind of example and all. And in the next session, in the tomorrow session, I'm going to introduce you guys the encoding in the format of the one hot, and at the same time we are going to talk about the label encoding. And definitely I'm going to ask some of the questions. If you are asking doubts, it is perfectly okay. Otherwise, I will ask the doubts. Okay. Now, these key takeaways.
Yeah, one more thing. What are the other strategies we have, Umar? Here we have just mentioned mean. Are there any other strategies?
Yeah, you can research, and mode is one strategy, median is one strategy.
Oh, okay, is there? Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'll do research.
No,
I'm just asking you.
I also wanted to talk on the strategy. See, my thing is when I'm seeing that example, of course, I don't know whether it's too early to ask. If I am working on some sales data, I know there is a value missing. Like if I'm doing some forecasting, I'm taking the sales figure. So if I'm not finding, like for the last year, can I get that from the whatever, suppose there are some 10 products. If my products that are missing, so can I go into the previous years, like last year I do not have the before past, and can I input those values instead of taking an
how do you input, Venkat? Maybe
no I'm asking you.
No,
suppose
yeah, see,
20
mean, suppose I'm having the data, I'm having my mean value, I'm having my median and mode from the current data set. In your case, you are very clear that I want to paste my previous year sales here. Then what is the best option, friends? What is the best option?
My point, see, I'm dealing with some 10 different items.
Yeah, I got it. Exactly.
Laptop, and then big TV and on phone. So
Venkat is correct, but what happens, you know, you don't relate it here. You relate it at the future. Future, what happens, you know, your parameters x1, x2 will become same.
That's all. That is what. See,
You
otherwise,
understand?
one thing, friends. Otherwise, I'll do one thing. Just I will take one more example other than min. But if we are doing so, obviously we are revolving around all the 2 or 3 sessions in the missing values. Okay, you do your work, and definitely I will pull. See, see, don't worry, friends. Missing value we are going to talk 8 or 9 times in all our use cases.
Okay.
Because whenever we are having regression, whenever we are having decision trees, definitely there are chances to encode, there are chances to missing value imputation. Okay, but generally for this particular data set, we make use of that mean kind of the strategy. Okay, now the first option is the data pre-processing, friends. We started, and then the Python implementation. And this particular data set containing the information about country. Second thing, friends, you should be able to tell age, salary, purchased. This is my data set. Now, yeah, coming to the template, friends, can you refer the which are all the steps we have taken in the implementation of this code? The very first thing is importing of the libraries. Import libraries. Which are all the libraries you have imported?
You have imported MP and Panda.
Panda, basically, in the first step. What is the second step, friends? Here, loading the data.
Put that into one variable.
Yeah, we have put that into one variable. What we have done, friends? The third one, X and Y split. What X containing, friends? Here, country,
age, and
salary. And coming to Y,
purchased.
Clear. Now, what is the fourth point we have done?
We have done with NaN.
So import sklearn dot. What is that, friends? Impute from simple imputer. Okay, what is the next step we have done? Next step is for simple imputer we have created the
simple imputer into the one variable.
One variable MV. This simple imputer, what it is containing, friends? Missing value and strategy. This is the thing. Now, what is the next step? Fitting the missing value imputer. Next is the transform. That's all, na? Transforming of this particular MV. Okay, that's it, guys. So far we have seen only the missing value kind of thing. Don't worry, just you go and open this particular Jupyter notebook, and I will be sharing the data set with you guys. And
we can create data set. .csv file. We can
do some trial from whatever with our experience.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, guys, do well. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to discuss the encoding techniques and as well as the feature scaling. Thank you.
Okay.
Readouts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.